Famous politician, Dr. Disrespect. Oh, no, wait, it's drama. Oh, it's a drama video. Okay, right.
Nick Merckx built up a nice community of repeatedly spreading queerphobic rhetoric to his...
Oh, my God, bro. Queerphobic. No.
Apparently, the doc isn't such a big fan of the tip. The Twitch is not going to respond. So he can say whatever the fuck he wants, and Twitch is never going to respond to it, right?
That's a good take. As you know, as you surely know by now, Tipster has said that he's not doing drama content anymore. And for a while there, he was a Resident Evil content creator only. However, the temptation of making stuff that isn't just gaming and playing Resident Evil was a little bit too appealing for Tipster. So he unprivated all of his kind of political themed videos. And he started coming back to making, you know, videos about political topics again. Okay? And that was the case for a little while. I said, you know, look, at the end of the day, he says it's like politics content, but it is very drama themed. Like he did a video about a song getting kicked out of the DNC, which is to me more politically themed drama than anything else. But the idea that it's hard politics, as he was trying to claim, you know, I'm just doing political content, guys, is obviously ridiculous. Anyway, he has now released a video which, well, I'll tell you what, I'll let you be the judge of this, okay? I'll throw it up and you tell me what you think. Do you think that this video could be fairly characterized as politics? You tell me. Dr. Disrespect has returned. Ah, yes, of course. Famous politician, Dr. Disrespect. Oh, no, wait, it's drama. Oh, it's a drama video. Okay, right. Absolutely classic. I'm not doing drama anymore, guys. I'm done with drama. I'm going to be a Resident Evil streamer. Oh, I'm coming back, but I'm just doing politics. To now, Dr. Disrespect has returned. So he's back doing drama again. This is 100% drama content. And funnily enough, would you believe it? Having previously done drama topics, it is his best performing video by pretty much double views of the best other performing videos at the same time frame, right? So would you believe it, that if you go back to doing drama, people actually tune in a bit more to see what you got to say? Wow, who would have thought it? Anyway, let's have a little look and see. So I did watch about a minute of this yesterday on my second stream. So it is, the first minute is pre-watched, okay? And I think you'll soon see the reason that I wanted to watch this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through the whole thing because he is reacting to Dr. Disrespect. And to be honest, there's some things he's going to say that I'm probably going to agree with. You know? But yeah, let's have a little look and see what he's got to say about the old doc coming back.
So chat, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, we have talked about Dr. Disrespect quite a bit in the past on this channel. We talked about when he was defending his buddy Nick Merckx after Nick Merckx said some really anti-LGBTQ plus statements on Twitter in regards to, you know, people discussing, or what was it? They were talking about celebrating pride in schools or...
So we're about 20 odd seconds in. And we're already talking about the LGBT stuff. Right, okay. Why? What relevance has any of this got to do with Dr. Disrespect coming back? Oh, he was mean to the gays. Don't forget, guys. He was mean to the gays. Don't forget that bit. That's important for some reason.
Recognizing pride in schools. And Nick Merckx had a big problem with that. Don't teach that shit to my kids, right? When personally, I think, you know, acknowledging Pride Month in schools is a good thing. I know, like, when I look back to when I was in school, queer kids, when I was in school, they got bullied and they weren't really accepted and all that stuff. So...
Queer kids. Pride Month in school. Oh my God, dude, what is wrong with this? Queer kids. Why would you say that? That sounds horrendous. Oh my God, dude. Like that channel, what was it? Queer Kid Stuff. Also, yeah, the thing is with the Nick Merckx take is like obviously he is a he's not like a political thinker or something like that. But I think the kind of like more fundamental aspect of it of saying, look, there's some stuff that conservatives are concerned about, children being exposed to at school. I think there is some level of real concern there that's worthy of consideration, because to me, it should just be, particularly for, younger children, be excellent to each other, be nice to each other, love everyone and, whatever. People are different and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my stream if it's effing, unfortunately. It looks fine my end. So all I can think is that it's like some sort of YouTube glitch. Sorry about that. So yeah, I think that, at a younger level, I think it should just be a more simplistic message. I don't think you need to get into the rigmarole of explaining all the intricacies of LGBT stuff and gender and stuff like that. It should just be a simplistic message. And then as they get to an age where kind of sex education comes into it, I think that you're going to introduce that sort of thing there. So anything beyond that, I mean, if that's what it is, I don't care about that. That's fine. Totally fine to have this kind of messaging in there. But it's this suggestion that there needs to be more. And it's like, well, why? Why does there need to be more than that? And I think although some conservatives are obviously, at times I think concerned about some things that maybe aren't happening, or they're looking at a situation and it's being kind of filtered through conservative media and it's not exactly what it appears to be. I do think there's a fundamental concern there that's worthy of consideration. And I think this progressive strategy of doing everything from, well, what's the problem? Why do you care so much? And acting like it's like no big deal at all, all the way through to the kind of "we're coming for your children" type narrative. Like, remember that gay video when they were like, you were joking about coming for your kids? Not sure who the PR guy was on that one, but they probably shouldn't have a job anymore. Anyway, yeah. Basic point is I think there needs to be some sort of boundaries and lines with this. And Nick Merckx, I think, is trying to speak to that. It's a very normie kind of perspective. I don't want that stuff near my kids, Anyway, I'm kind of fascinated as to why we need to know all about the ins and outs of the LGBT stuff in relation to Dr. Disrespect, because I don't think it's particularly relevant. But let's see what Tipster says.
When I think about like pride being recognized in schools, I think about teaching kids acceptance of LGBTQ individuals, but also for those LGBTQ students in the school, they feel accepted now in a society that unfortunately there's still not a lot of acceptance for those kind of people. So, as somebody, who had queer friends when I was going to school, and, I know a lot of queer people and whatnot, they would have appreciated that if it was in school back when I went to school. So it's kind of nice that schools are considering that now, but no, you can't do that because that's grooming. That's the way they want to insinuate it. You're grooming kids and you're trying to trans them and turn them gay and stuff like that. It doesn't work that way, but that's what they want you to think, okay? So Nick Merckx speaks out against this, and...
Bro, yeah, right, when did Tipster go to school? Dude, how old is this guy? He can't be that old that it was like a complete, total shutdown on anything like that at school. I think if you went to school at the kind of in the 90s, the early 2000s, this idea that it was like, a certain European nation in the 40s or something like that. The Nazi school experience being gay in 2005. Like, I'm very skeptical about this idea that it was a particularly difficult experience at the kind of turn of the century for people that, yeah, it just seems so odd to me, this idea that it was this like bigotry-ridden hellhole when, I think there was a kind of turning point and people were a bit more accepting of the idea that, maybe there's people that are in their teenage years that are, thinking these sorts of things and want acceptance. I think kids beneath 10, to make a kind of rough cut off, kids beneath 10, I don't think have got a substantial enough understanding of like sexuality for us to really worry about that. It's like, kids that are that age are not thinking about sexuality based stuff. It's absurd. It's absurd to act like we need to fucking fill their brains and heads with all this shit when we could probably just give a simple message of be nice to each other. Everyone's different. And then as they grow older, as sex education comes in and stuff, you can start to talk about these topics.
Dr. Disrespect supports his friend Nick Merckx. As a matter of fact, I actually have a clip of that to kind of like refresh your memory. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at that. Dr. Disrespect responds to Call of Duty removing Nick Merck's skin. This was in response to his anti-LGBTQ statements, but let's take a look.
If you don't know the news, yesterday, it just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
What's this got to do with
At Call of Duty, Activision made the decision to pull Nick Merckx's skin and bundle off the game.
Ms. Gender Lynn in the chat says, did you know that Dr. Disrespect cheated on his wife with a trans sex worker? I saw it in a D'Angelo Wallace video on him.
Got gobblers rubbing his hands together. Where? Which one? Tell me their names so I can look them up.
Did know that. Isn't it interesting? You know, you see this a lot, right? Where a lot of these, like, you know, people who are like right-leaning or like conservative figures and stuff like that, or like anti-woke types, they'll speak out against, you know, trans people, right? But then you find out that they're like sliding into the DMs of like a trans woman trying to like sex with them or trying to get like free content from them. Because this was, as you mentioned, it was a trans sex worker trying to slide into the DMs and get like free content and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting, right? He supported his buddies' anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ positions, but he was like,
I don't think you do see this a lot. I don't think that's true. I think that this is a rare example of, and also the thing is with Dr. Disrespect is like, I think his actions were a product of like desperation, like desperately trying to seek out whatever person he can speak to get his fucking rocks off. Okay. I don't think he's like being transphobic because he's really into trans people actually. But even if we were to accept the premise of what he's saying, it's like such a rare thing to act like, you know, this is a common trait of all these conservatives are secretly trying to fucking, you know, tap up trans for the gawk.
Sliding into the DMs of a trans sex worker to cheat on his wife, be unfaithful to his wife yet again. Pretty funny, right?
You know, champs, I mean, just imagine. I mean, he's one of us. He's one of us streamers, right? I mean, to get your own skin and bundle and that whole collaboration on the biggest shooter franchise out there and be one of the first to do it in Call of Duty, that's such a massive accomplishment, you know? And he worked hard, years and years, built a nice community. He's a great representation.
A nice community, chat. Nick Merckx built up a nice community of repeatedly spreading queerphobic rhetoric to his...
Oh my god, bro. Queerphobic. No. Guys, Nick Merckx has been spreading queerphobic rhetoric. No. Dude, why does any of this matter? I'm guessing he's going to try and present it as some kind of contradiction, right? The problem you've got is, as someone just said this in chat as well, all Dr. Disrespect was doing was backing up someone at the time who was his friend. And he thought it was shit that he got his skin taken down for an unreasonable kind of reason. I don't think this is a good argument of like some sort of hypocrisy on Dr. Disrespect's part. And I just feel like it really, you know, lessens the story to focus on some stupid drama about the gays from a few months before, a year ago in this case, however long it was ago, you know, before you start talking about the non-stuff. Like, there's plenty to get into of Dr. Disrespect being dishonest, misrepresenting, lying, you know, in my opinion, like, moving the goalposts, etc. I just don't think you need to do this big piece of like, well, when he was backing up his mate, look at this, you know?
Chat. What a great community. What an absolutely wonderful community.
Of a streamer gaming, you know? And just like that, he made it, got it in there, and they pulled it down. That's a fucking tough one, man.
Okay, I've just had a thought on this as well, okay? Do you think it's possible that Tipster is doing this and front-loading it with this culture war slop bullshit? Do you think he's doing that because he's trying to make out like this is a political thing, maybe? I don't know. Is he that Is he that fucking intelligent to do that? He thinks if he can put enough culture war slop in front of it, he can be like, well, yeah, this is actually politics. I'm talking about politics, actually, when obviously it's just drama.
I remember that's what he said. They showed this tweet on screen right there. This person tweeted, anti-LGBT protesters attack pro-LGBT demonstrators outside of Glendale, California school board meeting. The school board is voting to recognize June as Pride Month. That's all they were trying to do. They were just trying to recognize June as Pride Month in the school, which, like I said, something like that teaches kids who aren't LGBT to be more accepting of LGBT students, right? And it makes...
Bro, it's so funny as well. You don't need to poison the well against Dr. Disrespect anyway. You can just say, oh, look, here's a statement. Look how it's changed. He admitted to it and now he's changed it with this story. Boom. End of discussion. But instead, he's got to craft this like narrative that is worse somehow because he was against the gays at one point. Like, bro. Trying to score points for the lefty side.
LGBT students feel more welcome at school, right? I think that that's a positive thing. But Nick Merckx didn't like that. He said they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. What's the issue with teaching kids acceptance of each other? That not everybody that you exist with is going to be the same as you. They're not going to have the same interests as you. They're not going to be the same race as you, the same, religion as you. They're not going to have the same, there are people that are different than who you are, and we should accept them. What is wrong with teaching kids acceptance? They're acting like I said, they're acting like they're trying to indoctrinate kids to become gay or trans or stuff like that. That's not the case. You can't indoctrinate someone to be gay or to be trans or to be bisexual or whatever. You don't indoctrinate that. You either are...
How is it? I mean, he's so confident in saying this. I can't stress enough how Tipster quit commentary to talk about trans people for 2 consecutive years in every single video.
Didn't have much to say when Queen Clara was caught talking to kids.
Oh, true. Thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. I don't agree with this. I really, this is the kind of progressive platitude. I mean, I don't know, man. I think you can absolutely. I think social contagion is an issue, and I think that children, like, if you tell someone that's particularly young that they're born in the wrong body and they're actually a boy or a girl, vice versa, they will believe you. They'll believe that's true. Kids believe a lot of crazy things that you tell them. I mean, they think Santa Claus is real.
He's
for fuck's
trying
sake.
to hard. Seems very youth focused.
In the face of total and utter like absurd logic, they believe Santa Claus is real. The Tooth Fairy is real.
Off depressed people.
I want Tipster talking about sex with my kids. Said nobody ever.
Thank you for the 333. So I think that this is a very broad statement, right? And I think it is a bit more complicated than he's willing to give it credit for. Of everyone's just, we should accept everyone, and you can't possibly have a situation where someone is, through some discussion or something led to a certain pathway that leads to a certain LGBT outcome. Yeah. No way, dude. You gotta be kidding me. What is this? Well. What is this? I didn't mean to upset anyone. I know that I did. I'm not apologizing about the tweet because I don't feel like it's wrong. I don't think Nick Merckx is a bad dude. I just think he's coming from a place of ignorance. And I don't mean that as a slight. I feel like people who have knee-jerk reactions see what people claim is happening in schools on social media but don't actually know. So he's being like extremely gracious and, talking about the fact that maybe he's just, from his perspective, uninformed or whatever. Very gracious towards Nick Merckx. But now he's a real bad dude for exactly the same drama that he's already fucking commented on. Giving a completely different take before. Jesus Christ, dude. Surely you would want to reference this, wouldn't you? You'd want to say, Just so people are clear about where you stand now. Oh, hey, DK. It's because the tweet is just a feigned attempt to show off some sort of intellectual superiority. Let me educate you. Let me educate you. You just don't know what you're talking about. This is why actually you should want LGBT propaganda being shoved down kids' throats, actually. Let me explain the progressive, creed on this.
Those things or you're not, okay? Like the way they describe it is like kids are being groomed and that like they're teaching kids how to have gay sex or something like that.
But
and that's
how do
not
I
what's
make
happening.
money
That is not
off depressed people.
The amount of estrogen in Tipster's body could transition for grown adults.
Thank you for the $5, Nicholas. Very true. So the thing is here, I think that it's not happening as broadly as, some conservative like Twitter accounts or whatever would have you believe. But I've absolutely seen like pretty incontrovertible situations where, in my perspective, people that are too young are being introduced to things that I think are way beyond what they should be being introduced to. So I feel like you've got to recognize that it is happening somewhere, right? And I think you've got to recognize that. So this idea that it's not happening at all is extremely naive. And from Tipster, it's, product of his political indoctrination, right? Like Tipster has had this political indoctrination, which has been served by his desire to have a group to latch onto. And it just so happens that this time round, it's a bunch of trans that he's doing it with. So every turn he's got to give the ideologically compromised perspective on this. And there's now no room for any nuance, no room for any other alternative position. It is just, this is not happening, and that's the end of the conversation.
It's not the case. It's ignorance.
That's a fucking tough one, man. That's a tough one. For what again? So what I got to do, what we got to do is uninstall the game. Number one. I mean, don't get a mistake, this year's Call of Duty is the worst in its franchise. But that decision by COD's PR marketing team, I'll tell you right now, man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to digest for the two-time.
Okay. So we've covered him in the past for this particular statement. We also covered him in the past for another statement.
So we've shown a clip of him uninstalling a game to support his, at the time, friend who had just had a skin removed over a public controversy. What has that got to do with Dr. Disrespect's most recent statement in regards to him walking back his admission of inappropriate messages with a minor? It's like totally irrelevant to the matter at hand. But he's, it's this weird, it's like the ideological compromise being pro-LGBT. And it's this weird well poisoning as well that you don't even need to do. You can just talk about what he's done because it's bad enough in and of itself.
Where he was kind of coping about how he wanted to get early access to Starfield, and the developers of the game said they couldn't because of, some of his controversies in the past. And then he started like bitching about the fact that one of the developers on the game had pronouns in their bio. Let's take a look at that. Hold on.
That is what he's doing. I'm fairly confident to say that he is front-loading it with culture war slop so he can try and claim or think in his own head this is a politics segment when it's obviously a drama segment. Why on earth would you bring this up? It's completely absurd to introduce this unless you're, from Tipster's perspective, trying to make it seem like, actually, I'm doing politics still, not drama.
The doc becomes frustrated with Starfield devs after being rejected for his past actions.
Head of publishing, this is my personal account when I tweet marrying other random things. Him. Got it. Okay. Now everything's starting to make sense. Everything's starting to make sense now.
They had he, him pronouns in bio. So now it, quote, all makes sense, chat.
Everything's starting to make sense. Got it.
This is a grown-ass man who's like in his 40s, I think, bitching about how, and keep in mind, he's a millionaire, okay? He's like multi-millionaire.
Oh my
he could
God,
easily afford to
dude.
buy the game, okay? But because they wouldn't give him free access to the game, he's coping and bitching about the fact that one of the lead developers had pronouns in their bio.
I got it. So, I got to say this, Chance. We're just real quick. I just got to get it off my chest. Obviously, we've been hyping up Star Citizen for Starfield.
That's not going to help your case.
I mean, to me, it's a kind of like, you know, irrelevant, thing. I don't really care too much about it. But I can, like, this guy has got this marker essentially, which normally demonstrates someone who is like a progressive and wants to present themselves as a progressive to people. So it could be that because they've got people that have got that mentality, they're not wanting to kind of support me. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's a problem with my internet. Is it? I think it's YouTube. I don't think anyone else on any other platform is having a problem. So it's kind of a fairly inconsequential clip, but even then, I think if you're being reasonable, you can at least, even if you disagree, you can at least see the point that Dr. Disrespect is trying to present there.
Bro, like if you're trying to get free access to a game from a developer and you're trying to convince them to give you free access to the game, maybe saying the wrong game's name isn't going to help. Just a thought.
For a long time, we've been making it very vocal, right, Chips? We had our team reach out. Hey, can we work with you? Can we do something? Due to past controversies, there's no way we can work with Dr. Disrespect. How about just give me, like, let me play the game when some of the others are playing it. How about that? Yeah, that's still the case.
Jeez. We're literally just watching a grown man cope because he wouldn't get free access to a video game. Unfucking believable. So we've covered him in the past in regards to these sort of like anti-woke positions, pretty much. So why are we talking about him now? If you've been following the Dr. Disrespect sphere for the past few months or so, you probably heard a little something about a tweet that went viral and kind of caused shockwaves in the streaming space by someone known as Cody Connors. Cody Connors, back in June, late June, June 20.
So there we go. We got the culture war slop out the way, and now we're back to drama. So Tipster has officially returned to drama. And despite his efforts otherwise, I don't think he's got any excuse or reason to say that this is politics now. This is 100% drama without question. Someone pointed this out in chat, but I think it is a fair point. I think the problem you've got is obviously amongst some of Tipster's community, it could well be that inappropriate conversations with minors may not be a deal breaker, particularly if they're trans. So he's got to really hammer the point home that he's anti-woke, guys. He had inappropriate messages with a minor and he's anti-woke, so it is bad, I can assure you, okay? Because obviously, I don't think he's had much to say except defense of Careful's inappropriate conversations with minors regarding HRT.
21st to be exact, tweeted out the following. He got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text. Case closed, gang. No one made the wrong decision. Fuck him and his boys. Now, they don't name Dr. Disrespect in the tweet. However, one of the biggest sort of mysteries up to this point in the streamer sphere is, why did Dr. Disrespect get banned? Okay? Everybody had been wondering. He just randomly got banned one day and nobody knew why. He wasn't saying why. Twitch wasn't saying why. He ended up suing Twitch and settling with them, but we never knew the answer why he got banned. So this tweet right here made waves among social media. He eventually responded to this. There's a whole other, like, tons of articles and stuff about this. You can look it up if you really want to. We're not going to get into all of that.
Even the way he describes it is so fucking... The fuck is this? What is this, dude?
Do something! Do something!
Bro! Apparently, this is the caption of this is the Bo Black stream from yesterday, apparently. Anyway, Nicholas D'Aurelio strikes again. I disavow whatever that was, okay? I mean, yeah, to be honest, this is, I mean, he's just describing what happened. There's nothing really much to say about this. This is the problem that I've got, is I did want to try and get a bit of Tip Tent out because people have been asking about it. I know you love a bit of Tip Tent, guys, but I don't really care about his politics takes, and this is about as good as I could find. And some of it I am probably going to agree with. I'm sure he's going to have some reasonable takes on the Dr. Disrespect situation because they are anti-woke, so he's got full reign to criticize them.
But he did initially respond in a now deleted tweet. This tweet is now deleted, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read to you guys the original tweet. And there are some edits that took place, some interesting edits that took place when this tweet went live. I'll mention them when we get there. He says, the Twitch ban. This was in response.
Bro, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, okay? I just find the way that he presents information to be gay. I don't know. It's like, it's very weird the way he does it. I'm just going to go ahead and read this, guys. Like, yeah, obviously you're going to read the tweet. Like, I just feel like you would just present this in a more casual way. You'd be like, you know, oh, let's just quickly go over what he said originally or something like that. But he like brings it up. He's like, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this to you now. It's like, so the presentation, I can't describe it or put my finger on it. It's very zesty. It's a very zesty presentation that I just find particularly cringeworthy, rather than just a more casual presentation, which would kind of suit this kind of segment, I think.
To the tweet we just read. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the fucking bullshit. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I am here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studios. He ended up getting dropped by this game studio, a game studio that he founded. He ended up getting kicked out of it as a result of this. They did an internal investigation.
Yes. Oh my God. That's it, I think. It's like he's reading to a class of kids. Yes, it's like he's a fucking teacher presenting a lesson to the class. Right? I think that's why I'm like, ugh. A bit perturbed by it, you know? It doesn't feel natural. It's not like a particularly natural presentation. And I don't know. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm being too much. I'm channeling too much Nicholas Diorio, Tipstorian, hater, A-logger, detractor. But I find it very uncomfortable to watch.
And based on what they found, they decided, no, we're cutting ties with Dr. Disrespect. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. He makes it seem like this was like a mutual decision between both parties. I don't think that's the case, because if you actually followed the story when it was going on, one of the other founders of like Midnight Society came out with a tweet that basically said something along the lines of, I absolutely refuse to work with anyone who is engaging in inappropriate interactions with minors. Absolutely not. So this insinuation that this was like a mutual departure, I just don't believe that. I just don't. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. He admitted it. He literally admitted that what he was being accused of happened. It's right there, highlighted in text. He admitted it. Now, the interesting thing about that particular line in the statement.
If I change my name and dye my hair blue, can I continue to flirt with teens?
Thank you, Dr. Respect, for the 333. Okay. I mean, you know, this is more a personal thing, I guess. But I feel like this is just unnecessary. Like, you could just get to the segment and you could get to the bit response and just talk about that, I think. He's a bit rusty. Coming back to drama, he's a little bit rusty, okay? So you got to cut him some slack.
He originally posted the statement as it's written right there, okay? For whatever reason, he later edited that statement to remove the word minor. So instead of individual minor, it was just individual. Now, what Dr. Disrespect failed to understand is that, yes, you know, as somebody who's a Twitter Blue subscriber or whatever the fuck they call it now, yes, you can edit tweets, but people can view the edit history. So people started calling him out. Hey, Doc, why did you remove the word minor from your statement? He then, realizing that he was caught, oh, fuck, I didn't realize I could see the changes, he edited it back in. Didn't say anything about it, just edited it back in. And you can see the full edit history. You can see the original tweet, the way it was written originally, with minor included. You can see the second edit where he removed minor, and then you can see the third edit where he edited it back in. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. They were casual mutual conversations that...
Did you forget? Okay, we don't talk about the X mod, okay? The X mod is old news. Statistically, that's probably quite literal, to be fair.
sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met with the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. So that's his statement. There's more to it, but this is, again, as I mentioned before, it's now deleted tweet. I see Vio here who posted the screenshot, quote tweeting Keemstar. What did Keemstar say? Okay, show evidence that Dr. Disrespect is a pedophile. Okay. Keemstar would be defending Dr. Disrespect. How am I not surprised by that? Anyway, so why are we talking about all this now? Because it's kind of old news, chat. Why are we talking about this now?
I mean, I think that Keemstar's take on this was utterly retarded, and he sort of just immediately, seemingly believed what Dr. Disrespect said, despite the fact he'd admitted to it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking back to the old Keemstar calling out Tippy for his Ava Chris Tyson stuff. And also, I mean, dude, just on a side note, dude, I don't think I could, dude, this whole paedophile thing is so fucking stupid. You know, the reality is, if you get caught out having inappropriate conversations with someone that's under the age of consent, I think you're probably going to get called a nonce, a pedo. Like, do I think he is a full-blown pedophile? Do I think he has got, attraction to prepubescent children? Probably not, no. And I think this whole thing is more a product of, like desperately seeking out whatever sexual communication he can. And this person, by the process of elimination from what we know now, it's probably like 16 maybe, something like that. And that wasn't a barrier to him to continue the conversation. Well, I don't even want to get into the hebephile shit. I think that's stupid too, okay? People are going to use words that aren't exactly accurate. And, I mean, I personally wouldn't call him like a pedophile. He's more like predatory or something like that, like a predator, predating on this user based on what we know. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like, show proof he's a pedophile. I think this here, people are going to point to as proof because he's admitting to inappropriately messaging a minor. And for many people, that's going to be enough to call someone a pedophile, even though it's not exactly accurate to the precise definition of what a pedophile is, And I think you kind of get into a bit of a, optically disastrous game arguing the toss about that. So I would rather just say what I think about it, but I'm not gonna, lose any sleep if someone chooses to call them a pedophile. But I personally would call it more like predatory or something like that,
Because Dr. Disrespect announced recently that he would be returning to streaming. Okay, he took a month, maybe a month and a half off, and he came back to streaming. Now, I would show you this announcement on his Twitter, but I can't show you that. And I'll show you why I can't show you that. Let me see. Twitter.com/Dr. Disrespect. Apparently the doc isn't such a big fan of the tip.
I think it's fine in the course of your coverage to talk or show that someone's blocked you. It can be an important aspect of talking about someone. But why be so cringe? Why be so cringe about it? Why not just say, because I quote tweeted him, he ended up blocking me. First of all. And second of all, yes, good point as well. He blocks loads of people. It's so cringe when people act so high and mighty about someone blocking them when they block, loads of people themselves. Yes, people will use the block function to block people they find annoying in some way. That's just the way it goes. What was that again?
Apparently the doc isn't such a big fan of the tip. Not
Ain't
sure
a big
why.
fan of the tip.
Okay. But he announced that he's coming back, okay? he's coming back to streaming. And he did come back to streaming. We actually have his stream right here. He streamed for 5 hours, and at peak, he had like 200, when I saw anyway, there may be more, but I saw at one point, he had 230,000 people watching this stream, okay? That is a lot of fucking people to be watching someone who admitted to having inappropriate messages with a minor, okay? Like, this is just proof that if enough people like you, you can get away with pretty much anything.
Oh my god. You are going to watch him now. You are going to be one of the fucking people that have watched him. Dude, these people are so fucking retarded. The reason he had so many people watching him is it was his first stream back after a massive public controversy. So some of those, yes, will have been fans. But there's a lot of people, like Tipster himself is about to do, that are watching because they want to know what he's got to say and aren't a fan of his or whatever. They just want to know what he responds with. And also, the stream had a 13-week subscriber follower time before you could chat. So they clearly put in place actions with the knowledge that loads of people are going to be watching and don't normally watch him. It's just so funny that it's like, I can't believe, literally just about on the precipice of watching it. And he sat there going, I can't believe people watch this guy, even though he admitted to being Predator. That includes you, numbnuts. Okay, you're about to fucking watch him as well, because you want to know what he's got to say.
Anything, chat. But he did make a statement on the situation in the stream. So I thought, why don't we take a look at it, chat? Why don't we take a look and see what the doc had to say in his defense in regards to the situation. So let's go ahead and let's refresh the page so we don't get any weird buffers. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, just keep ignoring the issue and putting up this act. God, I'm so concerned and worried about everyone else's problems except mine because I'm dealing with a deeper depression and I like to project.
Project what? He literally admitted to having inappropriate messages with a minor.
A lot of people donating. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. You know?
He's so mad.
Are you nervous to be back? After what's transpired over the last couple months, am I excited to be back to this type of world?
Way YouTube still allows him to stream.
He's got a soundboard of a baby crying. Oh my god, dude.
What's transpired over the last couple months, am I excited to be back to this type of world?
Way YouTube still allows him to stream. They demonetize his channel, so he can't earn like monetization via ad revenue. Or
He was so pleased with himself for that. Really? Baby crying? I don't think it's, I mean, it's just a stupid meme. I don't think there's anything pedophilic about it, to be clear. I don't think it's a pedo dog whistle, okay? It's just very pathetic and gay. It's just why that? Why not just, you know, listen to what he's got to say and go from there? Why do you have to fucking over-egg the pudding? It's like you are, this is literally the definition of over-egging the pudding, right? In that you have got lots of material there to get into to criticize Dr. Disrespect over, and you're choosing to do these kind of like shitty sound buttons. Just, I don't know. He's a bit rusty. Give him a chance. He's a bit rusty.
or he can't have channel members or like accept super chats or whatever. But he can still stream. He can still stream.
So glad you're back. Hey, I appreciate it, Shane. It's good to be back.
His mannerisms are weird. I mean, like he's doing this whole thing in character, which is weird, right? You would think if you were going to respond to very serious allegations that you wouldn't do so in character if you want to be taken seriously, right? Because how many of you guys remember back when he like cheated on his wife and he came out and kind of addressed that situation? As a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can find the clip of that because
Well, I can't listen. Listen, okay? This is a fine thing to point out. But I personally think he did it in this reason, in character, to kind of solidify that relationship with his audience, to remind people why they like him so much. But anyway, see, this is the thing, dude. I want to give you tip 10, and I guess we'll keep going because people seem to be interested, but some of this stuff I'm just going to agree with because I obviously had the take I did on Dr. Disrespect. I'd rather there was something I could just say how stupid he is or whatever, but this is a reasonable discrepancy to point out.
This is very different than what we're seeing now. And I would argue that responding to allegations of, having inappropriate interactions with a minor is a hell of a lot more serious than cheating on your spouse. Not to say that it's okay to cheat on your spouse, but I would say that this is definitely more serious allegations to respond to. You would think that he would be out of character the same way he was when responding to that, but let me see. Dr.
Can we have
Disrespect.
some F's in chat since Netflix removed cuties?
Mr. Gurley, thank you for the 333. No, we can't.
Clip, cheated on wife. Let's see.
I can't really fault for this. I think
this is the clip.
I did this.
This is how he looked when he responded to the
Good
whole
job,
cheating on his wife
Tippy.
thing.
That's exactly the same clip I watched.
No costume, no performance, nothing like that. It's just normal Guy Beam, not Dr. Disrespect. Guy Beam, the guy behind Dr. Disrespect, the character.
Kind of have a little bit of an announcement.
Go on, Tippy.
And I just want to
get at it.
Completely transparent with you guys. As you guys know, I have a beautiful family and a wife and kid, and I want to be transparent that I've been unfaithful. And
so, not in character, right? Addressing the allegations of being unfaithful to his wife, giving this situation the sensitivity that it needs, right? So you would think if you're going to be responding to allegations that are far more severe, that it's because, let's be honest, okay? Like, obviously, cheating on your spouse, it's a pretty bad thing for sure, but it's not illegal. You didn't commit a crime. It's the kind of thing that, yeah, it's shitty, but it's a family matter, okay? You deal with it as a family, right? And somehow you come out on the other side with it, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about very serious claims of having very inappropriate interactions with a minor. And he responds to those accusations in character and kind of makes a little bit of a mockery of it. It doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. This is the problem, is like, he's giving like surface level takes that you can read on Twitter, right? It's like, bro, think a bit about it. Why do you think that might be? Have you got any insight from your little brain there as to why he might be doing this? Like anything beyond just, he's making a mockery of it by being in character. Also, it's not making a mockery of it. It's funny. It's funny that he's in character, okay? It's more interesting to me, at least, to see why might he be doing that. What's the reason he's decided to take this step?
Was aside.
He doesn't really get that.
Worth noting, the basis for early sex ed is well established over decades of research and real-world experiences of social workers. It's especially helpful in finding and combating CSA.
Yes, exactly, Spencer Howard. And, that's why you need to keep it simplistic, because particularly for younger children, they don't need all the fucking crap filled into their head. All they need is be nice to each other. Everyone's different. These are your private areas. And if an adult tries to ever touch you there, tell another adult, or, whatever they are told. But, the baseline is you just get that message across, because otherwise it's confusing. They just need to know not to be dickheads to each other, essentially. And if an adult tries to molest you, essentially, let someone know. And they're not going to understand that concept, though, because they don't understand, that on a fundamental level. So you need to explain it to them in a way that's understandable, right? Anyway, so yeah, I just think that Tipsters is not really, it's like, he's rusty. He is rusty, okay? Maybe he'll get back to some more insight soon. But it's very cookie-cutter, service-level takes. Oh, he's in character. That's bad, isn't it? And for me, it's like, well, just dig into that a bit. And, why? Why is he in character? There must be a reason he's decided to do that. And, my perspective on it, as I said before, is to tap into this relationship with his audience. Like as well, specifically like playing those clips before he started, kind of G'ing people up, and so on.
To a certain degree, right? We got to figure out this monetization thing. So it's September 25th.
He's in character into the stream afterwards. Yes, that's another part of it too. He's trying to make it seem like this is par for the course. This isn't anything particularly special. It's like something to talk about and then bang onto the main gaming like content, right? Like this is the thing. I think people are really not seeing what a manipulative person the Dr. Disrespect is. None of this is by accident. He's not accidentally decided to do what he's done. It's all considered, it's all thought out, all of it in order to try and manipulate and, pull the wool over people's eyes. So that he can come back from admitting that he did the thing that he was accused of.
Nation.
Well,
did you really need to burn Tippy like this? Tipster weighs in on the Dr. Disrespect ban? Weighs?
I always say that.
I can't believe you, Mr. Chudlogic. I wouldn't think you would ever sink solo.
Thank you for the Prime sub.
Is basically when we can reapply for partnership on YouTube. People ask, do I? Now that you're not getting monetized, you're not going to be streaming ever again, or you're on YouTube, are you? There's an opportunity to reapply.
Hey, thank you.
September 25th is the date. So in the meantime, we'll do what we need to do. I enjoy my time here on YouTube. We've built a nice, strong community for years. This is where we started 16 years ago. 2008, I think. I like my time here. And I like the community. We've got the best, realest gaming community, right? The Champions Club. And we've built it on this platform, and if there's an opportunity to reapply for partnership, and there's a date that's been presented to us, then I'm going to take it. And
I find the way he's like wording this and the way he's presenting this to be a little bit like dishonest in a way. Like, is it just me, or like some of the language he's using, it makes it seem like he need to like reapply on this particular date. So we're going to reapply and we're going to try to get like monetized again. But as somebody who's been demonetized on YouTube, that's not how it works. Okay. You get demonetized.
I mean, manipulation. Yes. Dr. Disrespect is extremely manipulative in how he's handled all of this. And if you don't see that, you're either retarded or a pedophile. Pick one.
And I think it's like 90 days. You get to reapply again in 90 days. It's a pretty standard like system that they have in place for being able to reapply for monetization. This isn't some special arrangement he got or anything like that. This is just the process. This is just how it works. But it seems to me like he's kind of trying to explain it in a way that makes it seem like he's having some kind of like negotiations with YouTube about getting his monetization back. And it's just not the case. That's not how it works.
Meantime, like we always done.
Yeah, it took a long time for Dylan Burns to get remonetized. Wait, he eventually got remonetized? I actually didn't know about that because I saw his fight trying to get remonetized. Like he would apply over and over and over again, and like they kept denying him. So I'm really actually glad to hear that he eventually got remonetized because I wasn't aware of that. I thought he was.
Oh no! See, this is the problem, dude. I want to give you the tip 10. Is this the tip 10? Are you guys liking the tip 10? I don't know. Thank you for the $10. Shiba Dog dressed in a traditional outfit waving Japanese fans. Thank you for the super sticker.
Still demonetized. So good for him. Good for him.
We've always stayed in our lane. We'll stay in our lane and continue to just put on a show. For almost 4 years, champs, the public demanded to hear from the doc regarding the Twitch suspension.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Why pick one? Can't Chud became a member too? Stop being ableist.
Thank you for the 333. Pedophilia is not just babies, it is prepubescent children, is the actual correct thing. But, splitting hairs over it's retarded. I said this earlier, and I also said that I don't think Dr. Disrespect is a pedophile, so I don't know why you're arguing with us about this.
Yes, since you all...
He's a Weasley little liar. Yeah, true.
What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
Missed the point with my personal statement. Maybe it's time to tell my side of the story.
What do you mean, missed the point? In the original statement, you literally admitted that, yes, what you were being accused of, you did it. Like, maybe he can try and finagle this in his favor in some way if he hadn't put out a statement where you admitted to it. Like, maybe he can kind of twist it in a way that works for him.
Oh,
because
you.
Let's face
You
it,
got
like, Twitch isn't
referenced.
going to respond to this, okay? He's able to put out this statement and make a lot of the claims that we're about to see him make right here because he knows, because of legal obligations, that Twitch is not going to respond. So he can say whatever the fuck he wants, and Twitch is never going to respond to it, right?
That's a good take.
So maybe
Yes.
he had the potential to be able to finagle this in a way that works out for him, right? But that doesn't work when you put out a statement already where you admitted it. You literally owned up to it. My guy, like, what?
Huh, champs? You see, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules. My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement. However, if one side violated that confidentiality, then the other side could respond.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the agreement that says you cannot, like, sure, you can't talk about the terms of the agreement, you can't talk about the settlement, the whatever, but you probably would be able to say, if it came up, I did not do X act, right? Like, I think early on in the drama, I could kind of see an idea that, like, okay, maybe you couldn't talk about some aspect of something because it would reveal in some way the details of the agreement. But nah, I think that's too generous to, to Dr. Disrespect's side. I do not believe that it's possible that the agreement would be, you are not allowed to defend yourself against claims that are not true of you messaging a minor. That just sounds ridiculous. Like, if it comes up, because remember initially, and this is where, if you go back and read his very first statements about this, right? He was very evasive about it and was saying, he wanted to rely on the idea that it was all settled and there was nothing more to talk about, and you couldn't even talk about it for legal reasons. When I don't think there was ever a point that if it wasn't true, he couldn't have just come out and say, I did not do the thing I'm being accused of, because how could that possibly be a breach of your legal agreement? I'd need to see that agreement to prove that would be a breach, because that sounds absurd, So I think throughout this, he's tried to reveal as little as possible from his side, so he's got some plausible deniability down the line, but he was pressured to a point where he did admit to having inappropriate messages with a minor. And obviously this is all just desperately trying to scrabble it back. But yeah, I couldn't possibly say that I hadn't messaged someone like that. It's just complete cope, and I don't believe it unless I can see the document that says as much.
And again, champs, I respected all the confidential obligations. But apparently Twitch's own disgruntled employees didn't feel the need to abide by those same obligations.
Oh, one thing I want to note before we continue on with this, you'll notice that there's a lot of love in the chat for the doc, like a lot of people in support of him here, and very little people speaking out against him. I actually want to show you something. I should have pulled this up before I started the segment, but I totally forgot. Let me show you guys something that's pretty funny considering the circumstances of what's going on here. Okay, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Finally, right. I think we're going to get some actual tip tent now. Let's go.
Posted this tweet the day of this stream. This is what I had to say. Over 220,000 people cheering on someone who admitted to chatting up a minor in DMs. Proof that if enough people like you, you can get away with just about anything. Gross.
Cheering on. Does Tipster genuinely believe that every single person in that chat was cheering on Dr. Disrespect? What are you on about, dude? There was plenty of people that were watching to shit on him. Yes, oh my god, X8. I made that point as well earlier. Exactly that, yeah. He's like, Well, actually, no, that's a good point. Yeah, true. Look, he's taken a screenshot looking at it now. He is one of those people. Bro, he is one of the people by his own logic that is cheering on Dr. Disrespect. Oh, dear, Tippy. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
And I showed some of the chats, people like in support of the doc, right? But here's the interesting part. Only channel subscribers of 13 weeks or longer can send messages.
Yes. Use your little brain, Tippy. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they set that on there? Is it because he thought that every single person that's going to be watching him is going to be cheering it on? Or did he recognize that people are going to be watching to shit on him and you know, clip his stream and stuff like that?
So if you weren't subscribed to his channel for a period of at least 13 weeks, you could not type in the chat. That was a very clear effort to prevent anyone from being able to say anything negative about the allegations. Now, some people got through because they were already subscribed.
So then your point is completely retarded then. You've just undermined your own point by pointing that out. So it can't have been that every single person was doing what? How much viewership does Dr. Disrespect get normally? He's like, what, 50,000 viewers or something like that? $20 to $30. So if you were being generous, you could say that, like, I don't know, half of the people there were watching because they were fans of him. That's quite generous, I would say, but let's say that. So you got at least half of the people that are watching purely to criticize, scrutinize, dissect, etc. I mean, it's such a stupid point to, you know, bolster the, oh, you could do terrible things on the internet and get away with it. Look at all these people watching.
For one reason or another. Like I did see one go by where they were calling him a predator. Okay, so some people did get by, but for the most part, if you were not a Dr. Disrespect subscriber and you showed up in the chat to try and make your voice heard, you wouldn't be able to. You would have had to be a subscriber for at least 13 weeks to engage in the chat.
Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved. Leaks.
Literally calls out the guy who made the initial tweet by name.
Twitch's reported reason. Years later. Cody, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. I mean, for what? Cody, why? Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time?
What lies? You admitted it! I have a feeling that I'm going to sound like a broken record right now, constantly repeating myself, but you admitted it! Like, what is the lie? Tell me where the lie is.
Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me, Cody Connors? You see, you don't know shit, and it was obvious from your tweet. You didn't have any first-hand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. I can mention that as we're here. I think Cody did respond in the end, yeah. He did respond. What did he say? I think he kind of just alluded to the drama. And I don't think it was, you know, particularly substantive response. But I can't find his Twitter account. What's his Twitter account? And I'll throw it up.
You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal
So basically he made his own little hub box. Not even basically, like he literally did that. 100%. Like that's what he did.
Definition of sexting is?
Cody said sexual assault. I don't think he said sexual assault. I thought he said sexting and arranging to meet up. That was what he claimed. Maybe he said that somewhere else.
I do. And yeah, I used Twitch's Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody. Oh shit! I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement.
That was me.
Edited.
That was me.
No. He's not trying to make this seem like some high IQ 4D chess move. He's literally trying to make the whole edit thing seem like some high IQ 4D chess move. Oh my god.
Bro. This is dude. This is so fake, bro. You know that happened. It was all over Twitter. There's no way you didn't know that he'd done this thing, and then you're trying to act like you're seeing it for the first time. It's like such a fake reaction.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh my god. What the hell? I can't believe that he's doing this thing that I knew about already.
There's no way he actually thinks that anybody with a functional brain is going to believe that. Yes, his brain dead fans will buy into it, but like, oh my god, he thinks everybody's stupid,
etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it.
You know how they talk about like those people who like they read body language and stuff like that? They talk about like duping delight.
I agree. The tip tent has overstayed its welcome. I do have a few other things to get into, but fuck it. I'm being lazy. I don't care. It's Monday. It's my Friday. It's basically my... So...
You know, the expression on someone's face when they feel like they've duped.
Dog gets a pass. He's very funny. Sorry. Listen, I don't have a problem. I agree. The Dr. Disrespect is funny. And I personally will not be, you know, stopping watching if I see a clip edit of his. Because, you know, it's funny, isn't it? Two-pack grape to 13-year-old. Really? Bro, you're gonna anger the blacks saying stuff like that. Be careful. Be cautious. I don't really care if people want to fucking... I will watch it myself. If, you know, a clip comes up or something, I'll have a look, see if he's doing his funny Chinese accent or playing some PUBG or something like that. But I just think you got to be honest with yourself. I think there's a lot of cope that people are engaging in to justify their continued watching of him. Where, you know, listen, pedos can be funny. It is what it is.
Duped someone. He's got the expression of duping delight all over his face right now. You're not duping anyone, bro.
And boy,
except, like I said, your young brain dead fans.
Boy, did they ever, champs. When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages?
That's a very odd choice of words, isn't it, chat? Did you ever consider that they were above the age of consent? Not that they weren't a minor. No, that's not the way he worded it, okay? He said that they were above the age of consent, right? So this could have been someone who was, depending on who he's talking to, you know, what if this is somebody who's in another country and like the age of consent is like 14? This could have been somebody who was like 14. What if it was like one of the many states where the age of consent is 16? Could have been someone who was 16 years old, still underage, mind you. Very interesting choice of words there, that he doesn't say, did you ever consider that when these conversations happened, they weren't a minor? No, he says, did you ever consider that they were above the age of consent? Interesting choice of words, right, chat?
You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban. You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever.
Oh, dude, I'm getting...
We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met.
Has anyone
in person
raped?
Ever.
Who's raped?
Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well. I suspect all of you.
People talk about age of consent like it's a loophole to being a pedo is telling on yourself. Yeah, pretty much. That was a common thing that Onision would do when he was defending himself against a lot of the allegations he was facing. Age of consent. He would throw that around as like some kind of defense.
Sort of planned and coordinated this attack. These big-time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just...
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I've given all my takes on this. The age of consent thing is a red herring to distract from his admission. You know, for like throwing a smoke bomb down. Oh, well, they didn't look at the age of consent, though. I mean, all of this is really undermined by the fact that he admitted what he admitted. You can't really take that back unless you got a good reason, and none of this was a good reason for doing so.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Tippy is so proud of his most obvious and lukewarm takes.
Yeah, he needs to get a couple more drama videos under his belt. He's obviously a bit rusty, isn't he? People are so dumb. Where is the proof that he did this? These are allegations with zero proof. Well, there is. I mean, Dr. Disrespect admitted to inappropriately messaging a minor. Whilst it isn't a proof necessarily, it is, you know, a form of evidence. Someone admitting to doing something is a piece of evidence that they did the thing, because the question is, why would you admit to doing something that you haven't then done? Anyway, we're not going over all this again. We're for the tip tent, okay?
Gossip channels now, don't you think, champs? They act like they're just gossip channels now, without any real journalism.
A lot of his mannerisms here while he's having this conversation, it literally seems like he's kind of like looking to the chat, like, you guys believe me, right? Please chat, please tell me you believe me, for the love of God, please believe me.
And real research happening.
And the sad thing is, these fucking idiots in his chat are eating this bullshit right out of his fucking hand. It's like I said earlier in the stream. If someone likes you enough, you can get away with anything.
Okay, listen. This drama is the same thing. I've seen you complain about 5 times in chat about it. Yes, there's not much going on at the moment. By all means, suggest a topic, and if I'm interested, maybe I'll talk about it, okay? That's the... Dude, why not suggest something? Why not say, hey, there's this other thing that you've missed? Okay? Oh, this is boring. God, Jesus Christ, you're literally like, you know, me with my own children. Right? This is boring. Well, suggest something then. Say something. Say something else. Bro.
And he's living proof of that right now.
Peter Scully. What's that? Who's
They
Peter
reported
Scully?
on all this based on leaks from 2 former Twitch employees, one of whom was supposedly on the trust and safety team. If these anonymous sources worked on the trust and safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had firsthand knowledge.
Is it just me, or does that kind of come off as like a very vague like threat? Like, I know who you are. Because some of the people that came out, they were like Twitch employees, but they came out like anonymously in various like media outlets and stuff. So that like, I know who you are. That kind of comes off as a bit of a threat.
Then what they conveniently left out is 1.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, the Asian anti-squatter stuff will be a good palate cleanser. I've also got the DSP convo with that guy from, what do you call it? Stuttering Craig, that Stuttering Craig guy. Apparently that was a little bit of drama. We want to watch Bluey. Okay, dude. The kids' TV show Bluey.
Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And 2, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM. I'll say it again. Neither I nor the Twitch user exchanged any sexual graphic messages or images. Cody Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened. I even used the word inappropriate, purposely.
See, he's trying to make himself sound like very Machiavellian, like he planned this like whole fucking thing so that it would be received by shady journalists in this very malicious way. It's like, dude, you admitted to it in a tweet, okay? This isn't some high IQ, like big-brained move or something. You admitted it!
Oh, yeah. You guys remind me stuff of things that I've had on the back burner that I've been meaning to maybe throw out there. Yeah, okay. The Grum stuff. There's a guy that's been making videos about Grum's game. Okay. That would be interesting. Anyway, guys, we'll get to that. We got time. It's only 4:30, so we've got loads of time. Come on, let's pad out a bit more fucking tip tents.
And now you're backpedaling. Come on.
Look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place. I mean, how would each of you look?
Yeah, it is important to be, I think, specific, because you need to be honest about what he did admit to, which is inappropriate messages with minors. And I think that, you know, he's now using that plausible deniability to his advantage. But yeah, I mean, look, the question is this. If you had a friend that came up to you and said, listen, man, I need to admit something, okay? I've been talking to, you know, they said they've been talking to a minor. And they were like, and sometimes the messages were a bit inappropriate. You know, or sometimes they did lean towards inappropriate, to be honest. Like, what would you think they're trying to tell you? Do you think that they're trying to get across to you that they were telling edgy jokes Or do you think that they're trying to tell you in a softened way that, you know, there was something going on in those messages that is going to be a little bit difficult to just say outright? Like, bro, it's so obvious that even the statement in and of itself is just this effort to kind of, you know, downplay it. And if a friend said this to you, you would not reasonably assume that you're talking about cracking a couple of blue jokes. It would be, yeah, okay. You probably want a bit more info, wouldn't you? You'd want to know exactly what that would mean. And you'd probably think, you know, the worst side of it than the more favorable side. Because in these situations, obviously, you know, when someone's admitting to wrongdoing, generally it's an effort to downplay it or present it in a way that softens the blow or something like that, you know? And then with Dr. Disrespect, there's this other angle, I think, that exists where he's, you know, layering in plausible deniability to rely on later.
If all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words.
Okay, so it's like, it is true that somebody can like leak your private conversation.
No, I think they're saying it was inappropriate. The fact that you jumped to sexual stuff says more about you than anything. I really think that's complete cope from someone that's probably a pedophile, to be perfectly frank with you. What are you on about? What? So someone references the words inappropriate messages minor in the same statement, and it speaks of you to think, well, that's probably something sexual, isn't it? What do you mean, bro? Dude, that's like the fairest, easiest assessment you could imagine.
In a way that makes them look like something they're not. This is true. So show us what the truth is, Doc. If you're saying people like showed your messages to Twitch employees out of context, show us what actually happened, Doc. Why won't you do that? Notice like he's making a lot of statements here.
Tipster doing YouTube drama again. Yes, I want everyone to know, despite his proclamations likely otherwise, he is doing drama again, despite insisting he was happy or not doing it. He's never going to do it again. He is doing YouTube drama again.
But he's not providing any evidence to back up any of this. He mentioned that, you know...
Also, right, it's reasonable that someone would clarify in the moment of that admission, you know, especially if there was an allegation on the table that it was sexual, that you would clarify immediately it wasn't of a explicitly sexual nature, it was jokes. But again, he never said any of that at the time, did he? You know? Oh, but it was to bait the journalist. You don't understand. It was a 5D chess move.
Arbitration happened. There was like a lawsuit that was going.
The court's already determined it wasn't sexual. Okay, I'm going to stop getting one guy by these retards. You have had the wool pulled over your eyes. No court has looked at this case and adjudicated it in the way that you are claiming or thinking it has been. Okay? At absolute best, there's been arbitration that's occurred. Right? Between Twitch and Dr. Disrespect, because they settled out of court. They settled out of court. Do you understand what that means? It means they settled this legal dispute they had without going to court. So there was no court that adjudicated this, assessed this, litigated this. You're retarded.
Going on. Later on, you'll see he references the discovery process that happens during a lawsuit. So he is saying he has information that he was able to collect through discovery, but he's not showing us anything. He's saying a lot of words, but he's not actually showing anything to back it up. Why is that?
There was a lawsuit. Right, let me try and help you out here. There was a lawsuit. The lawsuit was settled out of court. The lawsuit was settled out of court. What are you not understanding about this? It was settled out of court. What does that mean? That means that a court can't possibly have looked at this because it got settled before it got to court.
Why is that, Doc?
And this is not a situation where a victim publicly accuses someone of wrongdoing. That never happened here. We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were illegal. You see,
I can look. Okay, I obviously wasn't involved in this moderation process that resulted in him getting banned. I wasn't involved in the legal process for his little lawsuit with Twitch or anything like that. I have no background knowledge to any of this stuff. Okay, but I can really poke holes in this statement he's making by asking one question. Okay.
Here we go.
If during this whole legal process that happened and this whole internal review with Twitch and everything that went on, let's play devil's advocate and say they made a mistake with their ban, okay? If during this whole legal process and part of the settlement and everything that you did and whatnot, they ended up paying out the rest of your contract to you,
it is very layered, this response, because you then end up arguing, right? You then are arguing about the legality of it, where I don't even necessarily believe that Dr. Disrespect did anything illegal, necessarily. I'm not even on board with the idea that he definitively did something illegal. But then you get sort of arguing about that, and it's like, well, no, I'm not even saying it's illegal, necessarily. Okay, listen, you've made it clear that you don't understand how the legal system works. Just shut the fuck up for your own sake. You sound like an utter retard, okay?
It was determined that nothing wrong was done during that whole process. Why didn't they unban you? Why are you still to this day banned on Twitch?
Doc got $1,000 donos from normal dudes. Okay, I hate to break it to you and ruin your little alternate reality that you've created, okay? But if you're spending $1,000 on this guy dressed like this, addressing self-professed allegations of inappropriate conduct with a minor, you're not normal, I'm afraid to say. You do not fit the categorization of normal.
If you didn't do anything wrong. Because certainly if Twitch fucked up, and during this arbitration process it was discovered that Twitch fucked up, well certainly...
Okay, let's resolve this very easily, right? Yuhan01, okay? Even if a case is sealed, you can still find reference to it in the legal system because it would have been processed in some way by a court somewhere. Can you point me to where I can look up and find information about this this court that looked at this case that you're claiming? Where can I find that? Thank you.
They would unban you if that was the case, right? But they didn't. Why? Isn't that a valid question to ask? Why didn't you get unbanned if Twitch was in the wrong?
I engage with my community. I engage with other streamers. And through Twitch Whispers, I communicate with Twitch users. Conversations that consisted of a variety of playing games and gaming politics, content creation, random stuff. This was the extent of my whispers with this Twitch user. On June 21st, 2020, my ex-Twitch partner...
It'll be part of their deal that he stays banned on Twitch, but they admit no wrongdoing on his part. I mean...
Yeah, my understanding of it is, I think there was the threat of like a lawsuit being filed or something, and then it was arbitration that was entered into. And through the arbitration, that's when the settlement was agreed. So there is no, to my understanding, there's no interaction with this issue and the court system that's available because it never got to that stage.
It's possible, I suppose, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? I think the only way that negotiations like that would happen is if there was something there that makes Doc look bad. And so they're just kind of like, hey, you know what? I won't say anything about why you guys banned me. You guys don't say anything about it. You don't have to unban me. We just kind of, you pay out the remainder of my contract and we go our own separate ways. Okay. Why would Doc agree to that? Because he's always going to have, and he did always have, this sort of shadow floating over his head of like, what did he do that was so bad that resulted in him getting banned? Right? There was always this question, and there was a lot of like concerns that people had there for valid reasons, because around the time he got banned, this whole Meme 2 movement.
Listen, Christ P, you were in the other day saying the same shit. I mean, you know, I want to try and get through the tip tent because I do have some other things to get to. Twitch would, companies settle things all the time, even if they think they may be in the right. Okay? Companies will often not want to go through a complicated, lengthy, expensive legal process. And sometimes they will just settle something because it's easier, quicker, simpler, and possibly even cheaper to do so. So this idea that Twitch absolutely are admitting fault, I mean, that's the whole point of like neither side admitting fault. It was a settlement with neither side admitting fault, right? And that was beneficial to both parties because, you know, then it's supposed to be like a squashed issue and everyone moves forward. But obviously retards are now latching onto that to go, well, that means Doc didn't do anything wrong because the court looked at it.
Thing was going on Twitch where a bunch of streamers.
Wait a sec.
Doc agreed to that because he's always going to have, and he did always have.
Anyway, you're distracting me from the tip turn. I've already spoken at length about this Dr. Disrespect stuff. You're all retarded if you don't agree with me. End of discussion. Right.
This sort of shadow flows, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? I think the only way that negotiations like that would happen is if there was something there that makes Doc look bad. And so they're just kind of like, hey, you know what? I won't say anything about why you guys banned me. You guys don't say anything about it. You don't have to unban me. We just kind of, you pay out the remainder of my contract and we go our own separate ways. Okay. Why would Doc agree to that? Because he's always going to have, and he did always have, this sort of shadow floating over his head of like, what did he do that was so bad?
Why? Well, Dr. Disrespect agreed to it because it was beneficial to him as well. It was beneficial to him to basically, in his mind, have it squashed. And that's why he gets so frustrated. And some of that frustration is obviously genuine. Where he's like, this was a settled issue. Because from his perspective, he'd gone and done this process, he'd squashed it, and he thought he could move forward without, you know, ever having to worry about this or deal with this again. What is the Twitch win with that? The Twitch win with that is, if you went through court, right? And this is what the fucking retards don't understand. If you started to go through the court process, right? You're going to have legal documents which are accessible. Legal documents which would go into detail about Twitch's internal processes and procedures that could potentially be read and viewed by people, right? You would also have a story about the fact that Dr. Disrespect, one of the biggest, most prominent streamers on the platform, was accused of being a predator. You really want those headlines as Twitch? You really want Twitch enter, you know, legal process with big creator they banned who might be a pedo, right? All of those internal processes, everything about all aspects of this would be in the public eye. So I can easily see Twitch not wanting that fucking noise, not wanting people to be digging into their internal processes, right? Yeah. You know, if you want to be more favorable to Twitch, you could even argue that maybe they were concerned about the minor getting exposed to it in some way. But I don't buy that. That sounds retarded and corpo bullshit. I think it's more likely that they just didn't want all of the public scrutiny on the very internal trappings of their organization that would be revealed in all of these court documents, you know? Plus, there's a chance maybe they don't win. Maybe there's a sort of, you know, later down the line they end up having to settle and it's not as favorable towards them or something. I don't know. There's a whole multitude of reasons that Twitch would just want to squash this and move forward, you know? Like, you know, like big companies do like risk management and risk assessment, right? And they'll weigh it up and they'll go, okay, so the downside is we can't speak on this. We're not going to speak on it anyway. We've got to pay this guy a shitload of money. The upsides is none of this is going to be public. Everyone moves forward. Like, clearly they thought the upsides massively outweighed the downsides of having to pay the money out. So they just did that. Nip it in the bud, dealt with, move on. That's it. And then from the Doc side, yeah, Goober Goblin, who pisses blood, by the way, is actually laying it out quite well. If Doc is innocent, why would he take a big payout with zero of the work he promised required? The only downside being, if someone exposed why he got fired, he can say it was false and move on with the money.
That resulted in him getting banned, right? There was always this question, and there was a lot of like concerns that people had there for valid reasons, because around the time he got banned, this whole Meme 2 movement thing was going on Twitch where a bunch of streamers were getting banned.
Also, could Twitch not agree to pay out, listen, that is beyond my pay grade, okay? But yeah, I mean, there's a possibility that they came to an agreement on a figure that wasn't the full value of the contract, but it was referred to as much in order to just, you know,
and nobody cares about what
that's the story that's out there.
This should be worse, and it's not at all.
Thank you for the 333. Appreciate it.
Banned because of like Me Too allegations that were coming out against them. So this has always been hanging over his head of like, why did the doc get banned? Did he do something really bad that resulted in him getting banned and staying banned? He would not, in my opinion, agree to terms like that of a settlement of like, yes, we'll pay you your money and we'll keep quiet on the whole thing, but you can't get unbanned, because that would continue to allow that shadow to float over his head the whole time. And people would always have that big question mark in their heads of like, what did he do that was so bad that he got banned?
Bro, this is like such retarded analysis from Tipster. He's been fined for years. What was he on about? This has not been a problem for Dr. Disrespect. If anything, the uncertainty has benefited him. The only downside that I can think of is apparently YouTube didn't offer him a juicy contract because they'd heard rumors of what had happened, right? But other than that, I mean, he's been plain sailing. He's been monetized on YouTube, no problems, you know, massive viewership, whatever. Like, yeah, I just don't think this is true at all.
And they refused to unban him. I do not think he would agree to those terms of a settlement if he didn't do something legitimately wrong. That's my take.
Manager learns that I exchanged whispers with the Twitch user. And I say ex-partner manager because for years, this guy didn't do anything for me, my community, or my channel. For years. I'm talking no front page love. You're talking about the face of the platform, right? Literally. The face of the platform. And I know Champions Club remembers this. We got zero front page love on the website. He was never on my channel. He didn't follow me on Twitter. He wouldn't even inform us about Twitch rival tournaments. We're talking about the two-time Twitch rival tournament. Oh, I'm sorry.
Was generally in the face of the platform. I mean, this guy literally was like, at the time, one of the biggest streamers on Twitch.
If the chats drop and Doc is exonerated, will you make an apology video? Under no circumstances would I make an apology video for new information coming out that changes the story. I'm going off the fact that Dr. Disrespect has admitted to wrongdoing himself. If he released messages that showed that they weren't bad or, you know, what he's saying is correct, I'd have nothing to apologize for. I would simply cover the new information in a fair and balanced way, as I always do. You should never apologize for going off what information is available at the time in a fair, coherent, and consistent way. I mean, that's insane.
A lot of people, when you thought about Twitch, one of the first streamers that came to mind was Dr. Disrespect at that time. Like, this guy was huge on Twitch.
God, would you want to play in it? We got zero support from this guy. And it was just so obvious that he carried a grudge.
That's what made it so much more mysterious, is the fact that earlier on, prior to this incident where he got banned, he had just signed a multi-million-dollar exclusivity contract with them. He was one of the biggest guys on the platform. And then, just like that, he was gone. And everybody's like, what the fuck happened? Why did this happen? He wasn't talking. Twitch wasn't talking. It was the biggest mystery in the social media entertainer industry. The
Very
biggest
true,
one.
Tipster, it was. What a mate.
Institute time. So after we signed with Twitch in 2019, we asked for a new partner manager. And just a few months later, that ex-Twitch partner manager is directly involved with getting me banned. Coincidence?
He's making it seem like it was a big conspiracy against him. Like, this is like Alex Jones level, like, conspiracy crafting.
The Twitch user tells the ex...
You manipulate with the words pedo and predator. Well, calling someone a pedophile, to me at least, you know, it's very technically you're saying that they've got an attraction to prepubescent children. But I think, you know, I would even use it more broadly to children more broadly, right? But you can be a predator without being a pedophile. I don't know if I could say that Dr. Disrespect is definitively a pedophile, but I do think he's a predator. But if someone wanted to call him a pedophile, I'm like, I'm not going to split hairs over that disagreement.
Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. I'll repeat that sentence one more time just in case anybody missed that one. The Twitch user tells this ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged. On June 24th, 2020, Twitch...
I'm literally losing my sanity. I need a retard break. Fair enough.
Hold on. Retard break. I need a retard break. Give me a retard break for like 2 fucking minutes, okay? I can't keep listening to fucking retards.
Oh my god, dude. The careful sound clip. No way. You can say all you like. The Dr. Disrespect's an out of control gooner, but keep in mind he never lost his grip. I'm gripping. Boom.
Bruh.
Also, bro. Also, he swerved the Gobbler allegations. Very disappointing.
Need a retard break. Give me a retard break for like 2 fucking minutes, okay? I can't keep listening to fucking retards.
Bruh.
Special operations team receives and reviews the...
Do you know, the only reason that I haven't gotten a stream deck yet is because everyone that's got one uses it for totally cancerous reasons, I feel like. But it probably would be good, because if I want to transition, I've got to click a button on my mouse rather than just pressing it in front of me. It would probably be a tiny bit easier, but I just worry that you get tempted and end up with a bunch of shitty sound bites and you use them all the time. I'm going to transition, guys. I'm going to transition between scenes on OBS.
Shit!
Oh!
Users report. They find no issues and determine that it did not warrant any...
He sounds so angry over this. I mean, it's cope. It's for your cope.
You are coping.
Of course he's mad. And
No
he's just
way.
praying that his audience buys it. And the sad thing is they are. All his friends that disassociated with him as a result of this scandal, they're now getting shit for being backstabbers and traitors. His brain-dead audience is eating the shit out of his fucking head.
Oh my god, he's doubling up.
fucking hate everyone.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Okay, that was me. That was I did the oh
Twitch's
shit.
law enforcement response team.
If enough people like you, chat, if you're popular enough, you can get away with anything, including sliding into the DMs of a minor and having inappropriate conversations with them.
That would have been the end. That should have been the end.
It's just so funny, right? It's just so funny. We kind of...
Bro, Radio Jockey Tipster, 106.9 X tip. It reminds me of that meme. This, you know the one I'm talking about. I'm sure of it, without me elaborating. You know the one I mean.
You're now listening to 102.3 Real Rock FM, where we play nothing but rock, and
Tip,
more
tip,
rock.
and more tip.
This ain't your granny's station.
Bro, someone needs... Listen, this is a very deep cut, so I appreciate people may not want to make the effort. Okay? I feel like someone needs to do this, but for Tipster. I think that's a job for Nicholas, because he's got the AI Tipster, hasn't he? Could you imagine this meme, but specifically for Tipster? Oh, very good, very good.
references on an earlier segment in the stream about, like, you know, every accusation is an admission in disguise or something along those lines. I probably fucked up that statement again, that saying or whatever. But we have Dr. Disrespect, someone who in the past has defended his friend, making statements that insinuated that members of the LGBTQ community are groomers. Okay? And here he is, we find out, having inappropriate interactions with a minor in Twitch Whispers. It's crazy how that works, right?
But that partner manager.
Yeah, every accusation is a confession.
Oh boy, oh boy,
Very
did he had it
insightful
out.
tidbit.
Yeah, he had it out for the two-time. He finds out that no further action will be taken, so what does he do? He personally escalates the report to a friend on the Twitch's LER team. The LER team...
Remember when we covered the tenant media thing moments ago? We were talking about how, like, all the content creators are like, we didn't know what was going on. Like, we're the victims here. He's playing by the same playbook. He wants to make it seem like they were all out to get him at Twitch, and he's the victim here, chat. He's the victim. You should feel bad for him because he's the victim.
Oh no, the baby one again!
What
Please,
a fucking
God, no.
Weasley little liar, dude.
Remember, that's the Twitch's law enforcement response team. He escalates the report to a friend on Twitch's LER team. So a day later, on June 25th, the LER analyst pulls the entirety of the Whisper message.
Bro, see, this is why I've got to keep watching, man. Little moments like that. That's the pure tip tent right there. That's the pure tip tent that you want. Even though there's a few points, obviously, I'm going to end up agreeing on the Dr. Disrespect stuff. One thing I will never agree on is that. Convenient how Tibby doesn't mention that Nick Merckx disavowed Dr. Disrespect. Very convenient. Yeah, it is. Like, I don't think you have to talk about the Nick Merckx stuff when you speak about this. But it's a bit of an omission when at the start you talk about the Nick Merckx stuff to not even mention the fact that Nick Merckx cut ties.
And begins discussing them with his director of the LER team. Mind you, this director is...
Yeah, tips to be like, the screams of children, perfect for my broadcast. Screaming babies, that goes so hard. I can't wait to drop that on someone that I think is being a crybaby. I don't know if this is like being a parent, perhaps, but when I hear the sound, even like that, the sound of like babies crying, I feel very there's a physiological thing that happens, I think, where, and I think it's for everyone basically, but the sound, maybe this isn't just a father thing, the sound of a baby crying is designed, evolved to be extremely unsettling, because the idea of it is if a baby's crying, they can't look after themselves, obviously, so you are forced to go and attend to the baby because, you know, you want the baby to stop crying. Unfortunately, there's some parents that go another direction with that, and so give it some of that. Give it a bit of that to stop the old crying, but, you know, obviously, do not do that, okay? To be clear, that is not good.
On vacation at that time and does not have access to their computer or work files. Let me just remind
you. He makes a lot of statements here, but doesn't provide any information whatsoever to back it up. No screenshots, no documents, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And I went through a multi-year,
I agree. Good point.
Big time arbitration. Okay. And, you discover a lot of stuff.
That's why I mentioned he mentions Discovery.
Mind you, this director is on vacation at that time.
So if what he's saying is true, during Discovery, he found a lot of information that backs up his claims here. Where is it? Why are we not seeing you showing us these things that you're referring to that would back up your claims? Really makes you think, right, chat?
Go on, Tippy.
The LER analyst cherry picks and sends a few targeted excerpts out of context from the Whisper messages.
It's literally the source meme. It's literally the source meme.
Nice argument. Why don't you back it up with a source? My source is that I made it the fuck up.
To this...
Bro, he's got that on... How has he got that ready? Dude, he's got that ready. He's got that prepared. He's got the source meme ready to go. This guy's fucking full of surprises.
Director. Now, if you do this, you can make anyone's messages look inappropriate, even when they aren't. Within less than 1 hour, this LER analyst and his director have made the decision to suspend me from Twitch.
Go on. Hit the button, Tippy.
Twitch submits a report to NCMEC.
Hit the button, Tippy. Go on.
Little articles, huh? The NCMEC. Twitch submits that report. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Guess what?
Supposedly he's got like 9 Steam Decks. Is that true? Stream Decks. He's got fucking 500 buttons worth of Stream Decks in front of him. Every single sound you can envision is programmed, and every single one you could want.
As far as I know, and over 4 years have passed, they didn't do anything with the report. As far as I know, they didn't escalate Twitch's report.
He knows what every single one is.
Mind you, the same people that made this decision admit internally that the messages did not constitute sexting. The same people that made this decision at Twitch admit internally that the messages did not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge.
So show us proof that you gained through Discovery during arbitration that they said this. Where's the proof that the internal documents or whatever it is that you have that backs up what you're saying here? Why don't you show us?
Hey!
Twitch makes the decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted
he could easily just completely squash this whole thing. The funny thing, he wouldn't even have to leak the message.
Good as. Yes. He's back to drama content then. Everyone needs to know 100%, despite his cope, he is 100% back to drama content. I think he's trying to front load it with a bit of culture war shit to act like his politics. But it's not. It's drama. 100%. There's no way you can argue this is anything political over drama.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy.
What was the point of that? Nicholas just sent that to me and said, pull this up. Okay.
Messages and show what happened in the messages. He could literally just show some proof that these internal conversations that he's referring to, that he suggests.
Tippy is way funnier than Bo Black's just by being himself. Diorio need to chill and focus on other things.
Sure. Thank you for the full 20.
That he was able to gain access to during the discovery process of arbitration. He's claiming that he has all stuff that back this up. So show it. You can literally shut everybody up about this situation. But instead he makes a bunch of claims and doesn't show anything to back it up.
And not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way.
Listen.
Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's fucking unbelievable!
He's not mad, chat. He's definitely not mad.
Oh, Raheem, I remember you. You're some sort of Muslim who cares about Palestine, I believe. If I remember correctly. Is that right? Your colleagues, I just saw a video on Twitter. Why do they do this? They show these videos of like a Palestinian child headless and shit. And it's like, I get it's bad, okay? Listen, I don't need to see a video of a dead kid to think a kid getting killed is bad, all right? Like, also, what do you expect me to do about it? Like, I see that and I'm like, well, now I've seen something horrendous and nothing's changed. Great. Dude, it's like people want to justify posting gore. And so they do it by don't look away. Look at this, look at this. It's another dead Palestinian kid. Look, look, look.
I'm not going to get into every detail regarding my legal case. But these former Twitch employees that claim to have firsthand knowledge, they just don't have a clue. They didn't report any facts. The judge.
Oh my God. You weren't lying about this, were you? Oh shit. I'm blocked. I'm blocked by the Tippy.
The judge in the case determined that the whispers were not illegal.
I always forget.
So then why did Twitch use these messages against me?
Okay, you're right. You're right. You're right. Look, look, look. Bro, you're right. Oh my God, dude. Look at this. Bro. That's crazy. And he's got them all. I don't actually know how Steam Decks work, so I'm assuming that this is like an electronic button, so you can put an image through the app or whatever, and it shows you the image there. Okay, so these are all sound buttons. I know some of these. That's a big old bucket of bummer, dude. Look, you can see here that he's got ones that obviously he's had to get rid of, like Keemstar ones. You know. Is that Augie? He's got Augie. I'm not Augie. Bo Black's on there. Wait, the crying one. Look, he's had the crying one on there for a while. This post from 2023. Trollface. DSP one. Something to do with boobs. There's a lot to take in. To be honest, I probably should get one. It's, it's... Why not, eh? I can do this.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
I'd probably just get one and use it for OBS controls, really. Muting, stuff like that. Scene transitions. I don't know. I'm not really like a particularly sophisticated user in that respect. Maybe it's overkill, but how much do they cost? Oh, I could probably program like rate review intro, couldn't I? So I could just press a button and it transitions using the rate review intro, and I don't need to do it by accident. Okay, maybe for that. Buy the biggest one. Yeah, probably makes sense too. Yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, nice having some little new electronic gadgets, isn't it? Sometimes.
Why did Twitch treat the doc so differently from their other streamers? I mean, outside of the obvious. I mean, just take a look at me. Unfiltered. The realest motherfucker in this industry. 6'8", gorgeous, athletic, successful, college degree, college athlete, bourbon.
See, how are you supposed to take anyone seriously that's responding to serious allegations when they make a mockery of it themselves in their own statement like this? Like, how are you supposed to take this seriously at all?
Business, gaming, studio, beautiful family. And trust me, we've worked hard.
The last time you said something like this was buying a new PC. Yeah, I thought I might buy a new PC, but I didn't in the end. I'm going to get one, basically, when I get my new place, which is going to happen in the next year, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'll get a new PC then, probably. I don't need one yet, really. But when I get, like, a new place, it kind of makes sense to have a new setup, doesn't it?
For over a decade, to improve as a person, a husband, and father, and to get where we're at today. I mean, I'm in such a good place today. And all these people, they all act like they're just so perfect.
You're too lazy to do it. That is true. I will not deny that. But also, it's just, I mean, I would probably want to spend about $3,000 equivalent on a PC. Just because I want to get like an upgraded thing, like a 3080, 4080, 5080, whatever the graphics card is, stuff like that. I won't get a pre-built. I'll pay someone to build it for me because I'm not building it myself, no matter what you guys say. But yeah. Also, I do actually probably need a new second monitor. I want to get brand new monitors anyway, but the second one is particularly fucked. Anyway, guys, that's future. That's for future me to deal with. Present me is currently trying to get through this tip tent slog, and then we'll see what else. What else we got for this Friday, for me at least. Monday for you, Friday for me.
I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. Sometimes I do. But I also didn't do all the shit that they're saying I did. But then that doesn't make a story, right? They wanted media attention. The media wants controversy. And by sensationalizing all of this with big...
Leslie Angela.
Oh my god. Bro. Nicholas is obsessed with Tipster, I say very hypocritically. He's just posted that, dude. I want to throw up. That's brilliant. Dude, Nicholas is obsessed. What's wrong with this guy?
This is the most oppressed of all minorities, a white streamer. Oh, yeah, true.
Inaccurate headlines like sexting and sexually explicit. You all got what you wanted at the expense of the tube time. The reality is, they wanted to cut down the doc. Plain and simple. Take a look at some of these horrendous acts.
Again, like I said, I probably sound like a broken record here, but how can he make himself out to be a victim like people lied about him when he admitted it?
Yes,
He fucking
Tiffy.
admitted
Go on,
in his
Tipster.
public statement on Twitter. Did you lie too then?
Go on.
Of Twitch streamers that were never banned. I've got some examples right here. Example number 1.
How many times have you watched the Doc Return stream? I watched it once myself, second time through Nickworks, and this is the third time I've watched it. So it's actually not. I mean, I don't know. To be honest with you guys, okay, if there was like loads more shit happening, if I wasn't feeling lazy today, I wouldn't be doing this. Okay, we'd be doing something else. But it is what it is.
A streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming, which constitutes.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Using the N-word is bad. Okay, it's a racial slur. It's a bad thing to do, and it is against Twitch's terms of service.
Yo, he's getting in there. Saying the N-word is bad. Oh, Asmongold as well. That's true. Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that. 4 times then. Why even have to say that? Why do you have to preface that? Why do you have to preface that? It's a completely absurd comparison. The N-word to allegations and self-admission of inappropriate communication with a minor. Bit different.
But is this fucking guy really comparing saying a racial slur?
Yes.
To having inappropriate messages with a minor?
Yeah. Go on. You tell him, Tip.
Hold on, retard break. I need a retard break. Give me a retard break for like 2 fucking minutes, okay? I can't keep listening to fucking retards.
Yo!
No. You know what? One wasn't enough. I need another one.
Hold on, retard break. I need a retard break. Give me a retard break for like 2 fucking minutes, okay? I can't keep listening to fucking retards.
And the round of applause at the end. Brilliant.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
Constitutes a violation of Twitch's policies if accompanied by hateful intent. Twitch scheduled a meeting with a streamer to ascertain his intent to determine whether his contact was a violation of Twitch's policies, ultimately determining it was not a breach of Twitch's policies. Why wasn't I called into a meeting? Why wasn't my intent taken into...
Woe is me, poor Dr. Disrespect, successful multimillionaire streamer. Boo fucking who?
Consideration, champs.
Do the baby cry. Go on.
Example number 2. Streamer was reported for...
So you're not even going to say the names of these streamers? For all we know, he could be fabricating these stories. Like, this could be, like, bullshit that never fucking happened, right? So he's not naming the streamer. Keep in mind, I've watched other streamers, big streamers, who are well-entrenched in the Twitch sphere, okay? People who are so knowledgeable of the history of Twitch that if you were to cite something that happened on Twitch involving a streamer and not name the streamer, they'd, like that, be able to tell you, that's the streamer he's talking about. Yeah, and you want to know how many of these streamers that I've watched react to this and these mentions of these streamers that he's referring to and were able to name the streamers he was talking about? 0. Not a single fucking streamer that I watched react to this knew who he was talking about. Yep. Not Hassan, not Destiny, not Asmongold, not fuck. I could keep naming names of streamers I've watched react to this shit, and they had no idea who the fuck he was referring to.
Discussing doing things.
He's right about that, yeah. To my knowledge, no one's been able to identify that person. But here's the problem. You know what he's done, don't you? Remember earlier when he was faux acting, like was hearing it for the first time, that Dr. Disrespect was trying to pull a fast one and trying to act like it was bait or whatever. Well, he's just admitted there that he's watched it multiple times already. So he's just said he's pre-watched it multiple times, but earlier he was trying to put on this act like the stuff he was seeing was brand new and he hadn't heard it before. Unlucky, Tipster. You played yourself, even though you were right on that point. Unfortunately, you've made yourself look even more retarded.
With deceased animals and discussing pedophilia, all while live streaming. Never suspended, but instead given a multi-million-dollar contract.
No mention of who this streamer is. Nobody knows who the fuck he was talking about. Like, for example, I'll give you a perfect example.
There's nothing wrong with pre-watching, but I just think it's not like the end of the world. It's not, you haven't raped anyone by not saying it, but just say, oh, by the way, guys, I've watched this already, or I've watched part of this or something. Just because I just think it's a bit weird. It's odd to act like you haven't seen something when you have. because like why? It's like you're trying to give the flavor that you're reacting to it for the first time, but you're not.
To describe a Twitch streamer who was banned from the platform for self-harm because he had this shtick of...
I have it on good authority that Mizkiv is the N-word streamer he's talking about, okay? Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just funny when you pretend you didn't because you know you're too retarded to give good points live instead of preparing ahead of time.
smashing keyboards over his head, everybody would be able to tell you that that was Delor. Okay? If I were to tell you about a streamer who, back in the early days of Twitch, got banned from Twitch for allegedly scamming his audience out of money, claiming that he was handicapped and needed money for things like a wheelchair and stuff like that, and that there was a clip that came out of him standing up out of his wheelchair when he didn't realize he was still alive, everybody would be able to tell you who that streamer was, which, funny enough, I'm actually forgetting their name right now. I'm sure somebody in chat knows who I was talking about. But my point is, you can mention incidents involving big-name streamers that happened to them, and people would know who you're talking about.
I got you, Tippy.
Okay? I'll give you another one. Streamer got banned for putting himself in situations that resulted in him getting swatted numerous times to the point that he got swatted on an airplane. He was knowingly putting himself in harm's way when it came to swatting on his stream.
Tippy. You tell him about Ice Poseidon.
Shocking content.
You tell him.
When I describe that, everybody knows that that is Ice Poseidon.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Where, like, if you describe these things enough, people know who you're talking about. Who the fuck is Doc talking about? And why are some of the most well-known streamers on the platform completely clueless as to who you're talking about? It's very possible. I'm not saying this.
Tipster knows loads about drama for a political streamer. Yeah. Wow. Bro, it's just, why the cope? Why the, like, oh, I'm not going to do drama anymore, guys. What is it about it? It's just like dynamic where you say, I'm not going to do something anymore, but then you come back to do it anyway. Like, it's not the end of the world again. It's not that you've raped, but it's just so stupid and unnecessary and pointless.
Without a shadow of a doubt, but it's very possible he completely fabricated these stories.
Example number 3. Streamer was reported for a sexually explicit stream involving children.
Yeah, I know that the whole thing was like a misunderstanding.
Tipster should return to drama and just stop being so soy. How's it going, Gamma? Hope you're well. Yeah, look, obviously I'm playing it up a bit for you know, comedic sake. But there have been a couple of kind of comments he's made that I'm like, yeah, that's a fairly decent insight, you know? But the problem he's got is he's so ideologically compromised now that he can't give good, fair takes on things. It will always be with a severe progressive bent on his perspective because he doesn't want to, you know, he wants to support the gays. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, if he just went back into it and you know, wasn't annoying and soy, I don't know, dude. Just be normal.
And apparently, like, that guy's name ended up getting cleared. I've actually talked to the streamer after his name was cleared, Jazz Dog. So I'm familiar with that guy. I forget his name. Somebody in chat will know. I think, hopefully. But
Chud said supporting a doc makes you a pedophile. I never said that. Bro, I've said repeatedly that if you want to watch Dr. Disrespect clips, I don't think any less of you. I would probably do the same. The people that I think less of are the people that are coping about Dr. Disrespect's response rather than just being honest about it and just accepting that, yeah, this guy is, you know, naughty. He's been naughty. He's been very naughty.
Yeah, that guy did eventually get cleared that he wasn't lying and he didn't scam his audience.
And telling children to send Snapchat.
Which is kind of fucked up. Twitch didn't unban that guy after his name was cleared. They really should have, but whatever.
Of them playing with themselves. Never suspended, but instead, given a multi-million-dollar contract. It's so obvious that certain Twitch executives, employees involved had personal biases against the doc and used all of this as an opportunity to terminate my...
Zillion OP, that's the guy, Zillion OP, which, yes, he was later, basically, there was evidence presented that proved that he wasn't lying, that he could have been a little bit more transparent with his audience, but he wasn't necessarily lying, like he was telling the truth. But yeah, thank you for the name. I was literally like, my brain was like, what's that guy's fucking name? But yeah, Zillion OP, way back in the early days of Twitch, he got banned for scamming his audience, but he didn't actually scam his audience. But chat, listen to the story. He goes some like full... full conspiracy crafting, like Alex Jones level conspiracy theory crafting.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay.
Watch this.
Do you understand that? Turn the freaking frogs gay.
Whoa!
Contract.
Dude, he's even got Alex Jones edits like that as well. He is fucking prepped. He don't fuck about, Tippy, does he? He's got that ready to rock at a moment's notice. Out of nowhere.
Go back and look at the timing of all this, too. Huh. The Doc's termination lines up with two preferable, profitable, and expensive streamers leaving Mixer.
That is true as well, though, isn't it? It's like, to go to that much production quality of having that ready to roll to your, I don't know, what, X amount of viewers. It's just, like someone said earlier, he's got more buttons, he's got more Stream Deck buttons for sound bites than he does viewers.
By the way, if you don't know who he's talking about Ninja and Shroud. That's who he's talking about. Shroud and Ninja had both signed like exclusive big money contracts with Mixer. I actually really liked that time in the streaming sphere because it kind of reminded me of the old WCW versus WWE days of like these two companies signing like talent from each other and stealing talent away from each other. It was like the streamer equivalent of that. So it was a really cool time to be a fan of like stream.
Oh, also another thing that I've only just noticed now is he's also back streaming on YouTube. So he's actually multi-streaming. Look, he's on YouTube and Twitch. Because didn't he go away from YouTube and go to Twitch? And it was said that it was because he wanted to be able to block people from watching his stream if they were banned. Ugh. At least he doesn't get distracted by those buttons and has to rewind the video 5 minutes every single time because he wasn't paying attention. Fez! What are you on about? What are you talking about?
Content. But yeah, they signed Mixer on these big money deals and Mixer didn't actually work out. Ninja and Shroud got signed to Mixer and Mixer didn't work out. It ended up like getting closed down. So these guys were like free agents at that point. And his theory that he's crafting is they rushed to get Doc's contract invalidated so they could sign those guys instead. That's his little conspiracy theory.
As soon as Twitch knew that Mixer had failed, and go look at the timing. These other expensive streamers needed a new streaming platform. So Twitch rushed through its decision to terminate the two-time. You see, I shouldn't even be banned from Twitch.
You tell him.
It has affected us on so many levels. Back in 2020, and now in 2024.
You fucking speak your truth. Purple snakes.
And Cody, Connors, I just have to say it again. Why would you do this? Like I said, this was handled professionally years ago. No fucking wrongdoing. But because of you, Cody, we just lost. Fuck, man.
Hey, floppy dog.
Unfortunately, we have to lay off people from Midnight Society.
This is like super manipulative too, in my opinion. Because the fact that, as I mentioned earlier in the segment, he got fired from Midnight Society when all this came out. Okay, it's possible that as a result of losing, his influence to help, promote the company, they're actually laying people off. But he's wording it in a way that makes it seem like he still has some say over at the company, and he had to make that.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy because I'm.
Okay, that's wonderful.
As you can probably tell, not like super invested in this exactly, having seen this a bunch of times, and just holding on for the very, very slim tip tent. Okay, but people seem to be watching. I don't know what to tell you. People love the tip tent.
Yeah,
people want the soundboard.
Became a member.
They can't resist. They're addicted to it. As much as you hate him, you cannot resist. Okay, right. Nicholas is A-logging and detractoring has borne some fruit. So what is this I'm looking at here? What is this? Old Smoky Moonshine. We don't have this over here. Is it some sort of booze? Rustic Corn Whiskey Distillery, brewing moonshine in copper stills. Okay. How old are you? Over 21? Yes, I am. Just let me in. Let me in. I want to see what you got for offer. Jesus Christ, dude. I just saw a label and it said like 35% proof. But I'm guessing... This is not necessarily what he's got, to be clear, okay? It could be something else. We are done messing around. It is time to raise the proof. 128 proof. 64% alcoholic volume. It's clear, clean, and exactly what moonshine should be. Purity and perfection are the name of the game when it comes to Old Smoky Blue Flame Moonshine. Evidence of a high quality, high proof moonshine is all in the colour of the flame. If it burns blue, it's true. Okay, it might not be what he's got. If anyone can identify this, it looks like it's got some sort of red lettering there. The highest quality proof liquor he can legally buy. Right, okay. Recovering alcoholic with a little jar of moonshine. just to sup on as he's as he's setting up his new sound buttons. Ignoring kick chat again. Wrong. Wrong. Butter pecan Old Smoky. Oh, you're saying that's what he's got? Okay, let's have a look. Is this it? Butter pecan. You think so? I don't think so. It doesn't look the same. Nah, I don't think it's this. Because it's got this kind of red lettering on the side. A-logging is getting out of hand. We're looking up flavours of moonshine tipster drinks. Oh, Shine Nog. Oh, well spotted. I think it is Shine Nog. Oh my god. It is. It is. Bro. It is. It's Shine Nog. Well done, guys. Well done. Look. It is absolutely Shine Nog. It matches precisely. You can see the bottom of the ribbons there. Match perfectly. Right? You see that? And then you've got the Shine Nog there. And you can just about make it out when you know what it is. Well done, guys. Absolutely top tier detracting and A-logging. Well done. Wouldn't expect any less from Chief Tipstorian Nicholas Diorio. Well done. Oh, 17.5%. Wait, hang on a sec. And he's just got it on his desk. Like, that looks like the kind of thing that you would, like, put in a glass and sip at, maybe. But he's just got it sat on his fucking desk to have a guzzle out of. At 17.5%. Oof. The holidays are filled with family gatherings that include, well, a lot of family. Which makes it the perfect time to enjoy Old Smoky Shine Nog. We took a traditional recipe and added our exceptional moonshine to create a holiday hooch that will help you handle all the chaos of the season. Let mirth and merriment commence. Okay. It's like a liqueur. Yeah, but you don't drink a liqueur from the bottle. It's like, this looks like what might be close to like a Bailey's over here or something, which is like a cream liqueur. But you'd put it in a glass and you'd like have a little supple, not just chug it from the bottle. That's mental. Anyway, there we go, guys. We got there in the end.
That decision to lay people off. You don't work there anymore. So why are you making it seem like you do? They shit-canned you as a result of this scandal. So why are you pretending like you still have some say in their operation? Like you personally had to decide to lay people off. It's dishonest. It's a fucking lie. It's a manipulation tactic to try and get sympathy from people.
What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
Right. Because of you, Cody. You know, through all this, we are where we are. And like a fucking man, I'll accept it. What I don't accept is sitting quietly by and let these idiots attack me with false accusations. No. For all these doc haters out there too, oh man, the ones that project and worry about everyone else's problems, right? I can't understand that mindset. I could care less. We've always stayed in our lane. But somehow, some way, these people, they just get in our lane. For all you doc haters, I'm sure you'll just like dissect all of this and still find a way to publicly criticize me. Do what you need to do. I'll say this isn't for you. This was for my team today, my community, my friends, La Familia that have supported me. And I'm not denying the exchange of whispers, champs. I'm not denying that to all of you out there. It looks bad. I have no way of knowing if the Twitch user thought our exchange of whispers was inappropriate. If it was, I apologize. All I know is that I never did what Twitch, Cody Connors, or the public is claiming that I did.
So prove it. It's not that hard, right? To prove it, right? Prove it.
That's it. I'm not saying anything more about any of this, right? Unless I need to, because trust me, I have more I haven't disclosed.
Okay, listen, we're close to the end. We're getting there. 3 minutes. We've done it.
I just want to get back to what we do best. Put on a show and climb our...
Dude, see, look what happens when you persevere with a segment sometimes, right? Right? Through what's happened today, we have found a new funny detail about Tipster, that in the picture that he posted of his stream decks, there's some sort of grotesque, massively alcoholic beverage that he's got in the background.
Our way to the tippity top of the mountain, man. In our own lane.
The nog. Tipster's guzzling the nog.
That's it.
Go on, Tippy. What you got to say, mate? Wait, it's muted. Is it muted for you as well? Oh, it's probably muted because of Content ID. Da-da, 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 da-da. Yeah, the different reactions are fun, certainly. But he's muted.
If I ever heard one. Holy shit.
There we go.
All right. I think this is a good place to wrap it up for this segment. So what are my thoughts on this? Like,
Among Us.
I kind of mentioned this before that, like, you know, if he hadn't put out that statement, the day, or like, what was it, like a day or two after this statement by Cody initially came out, if he hadn't put out that Twitter statement where he basically admitted to all this, he probably could have finagled this in a way where people might have actually bought it. Okay? He might have actually convinced people that, yeah, this whole thing's bullshit. But it doesn't work. Maybe it works for your brain dead fans who love you so much that they'll buy anything you feed to them. But this doesn't work for anyone else because you admitted it. The moment you admitted it, you sealed the deal. Okay? Nobody's buying this bullshit unless you can present.
The other thing that obviously, you know, I've got a bit annoyed to chat out the other day that people aren't thinking about either, because people will dismiss it out of hand because it's from Twitch and it's a mainstream newspaper. But there's reporting that contests what Doc is claiming. And that reporting came out after he admitted to having inappropriate messages with a minor. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, people will dismiss that out of hand. I think it's fair to say it's maybe not exactly 100% correct. But I think, you know, that it would have to be pretty wild for that to be completely and utterly wrong and like lies, fabrications, you know, that favoured the Doc. But we will see, guys. I'm sure his defamation suits are coming any day.
And some kind of evidence that backs up what you're saying. Nobody's buying this shit, okay? You did it. You admitted to doing it, and that's it. It's as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that.
Get him. Yeah. A little cool music at the end. Well done, Tippy. Do you know what, right? I've got to be fair. Okay? The start was fucking terrible. Unnecessary. But, I mean, what can you say about that? It was all fairly standard takes that you can't really have much issue with, presuming, you know, you're not on board with this idea that Dr. Disrespect has exonerated himself by speaking for a period of time. There were a few funny moments in there. To be honest with you, the soundboard is quite endearing and funny, as much as it's fun to mock. I don't know. It's just funny, this idea that he's there, you know, eggnog moonshine, ready to go, just prepping all the buttons, ready for the stream. But yeah, sure, I agree with you. I mean, it's very pathetic to say you're not doing drama anymore and then to do drama again. Just do drama, and that's fine. Yes, I think that this is his little dipping it with... He's putting his little tippy toes back into it, but with some plausible deniability by doing this culture war shit at the start. He could be like, oh, it was politics though, because Dr. Disrespect's anti-woke. No, you're doing commentary drama type stuff. Let's be real. And I welcome more, because I'm not interested in Tipster's political takes. I'm hoping he weighs in on another drama and he has a terrible, awful, bad take. We're so back, and we're moving on from the tip tent. I think that was good in the end. Bit skeptical about seeing it all the way through, but glad that I did.